Today we're going to look at some nice sci-fi Dwarven Berserkers, some Leagues of Votann Cthonian Berserks, and we're also going to get confused over potential lore conflicts. Yeah, I know they're not technically dwarves, I've already said they're Leagues of Votann, but let's be honest, 40k is just fantasy in space, and the Dwarven Berserker is quite the fantasy trope, so it's kind of nice to see these, to be honest. Even if I am confused as to why they are Cthonian Berserks. Also, why say Berserks instead of Berserkers? I know what they've done. They've tried to make it a little bit more unique, a little bit different. They've tried to, go a little bit left field right at the end there, but I just want to say Berserkers because it's easier, weirdly, than saying Berserks, and also Berserks is not that far off calling someone just an absolute berk. You could call someone an absolute berserk and it'd be fine. It's just going to get confusing, so I apologise for the fact that I will say the wrong word repeatedly throughout this video, and I could go back and fix it in post, but I'm not going to. Regardless of terrible pronunciations and incorrect words, seen a lot of the Leagues of Votann so far, they say. The Hearthkin warriors make up the core of every kin host, often riding in paired they've got to get the plug-in. They've got to get the plug-in for the Sagittor ATV. While the mighty Einhir Hearthguard, God, the names are killing me, unleash salvos of devastating firepower, and from out of this solid front line strikes an unexpected sight, furious Cthonian Berserks. I am genuinely fascinated as to why these are called Cthonian Berserks, because Cthonia is the homeworld of the Primarch Horus Lupercal, who famously went a little bit off the rails and did a whole heresy. So why these are, it seems like just directly named after that planet, which also has been destroyed, or at least destabilised and broke up into a bunch of chunks. That's just an interesting choice, and I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of lore drop or bit of story further on down the line that explains why these things are named after a planet linked to, well, Horus and his legion. It's an interesting choice, and I'm hoping there's a really cool explanation for it. What I'm definitely hoping we don't have is just no explanation, because that would be really lacklustre and underwhelming, but we'll see. Anyway, this is the squad, and as you can see, there's already a little bit of augmentation going on here. That fella quite clearly has got a plate in his head, his eye is not his original eye, and it looks very much like he's got a prosthetic arm as well, along with prosthetic feet by the look of things, potentially legs, it's hard to tell. He's also carrying a whack-off grey axe, so, clearly there's a trope being explored here, which I actually quite like. We also have another furious gentleman with twin punchy fists. The power pack on the back is plugged directly into the skin. Also, he's got like robotic collarbones, that's weird. Cool, but weird. I'm assuming, I haven't read all the way down yet, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that there's some sort of like combat stim thing going on here, that they're probably plumbed in so that they can be flooded with chemicals. And of course the fact that they have cables, like what look like power cables, plugged directly into the shoulders, on this guy at least, that sort of suggests that there is quite a bit of augmentation going on there, even if you can't fully see it, right? There's also massive hammers as well, very nice. Again, quite a bit of augmentation going on. All those like silver cables sticking out of the ribs there. Yeah, this lot look pretty gnarly, to be fair. They look really quite messed up, in a good way. The cables and like the little port and stuff coming out of his chest, it all just looks horribly uncomfortable. Also got a very angry lady berserk as well, with what looks like a proper like breastplate on as well, and a full prosthetic arm. That arm looks awesome. I do like the prosthetics for the Leagues of Votann. They look very industrial, they look very strong, but also quite sophisticated. Quite often some of the, especially like the Space Marine ones, for instance, they look super clunky and naff. These don't have that. They've got a kind of edge of like more modern technology about them, which is kind of weird to say since it's a, sci-fi setting, but you know what I mean. Decaying technology and the inability to innovate is, well, it was a theme. Maybe not so much now, given that the Imperium has a metric shedload of brand new stuff, what's really good, but for quite a while there, things not being as good as they could be and no one knowing how to make anything better was pretty much the story of the day. But yeah, she's cool, I like her. And we've got another lad with a bionic eye and a bionic arm, another massive axe as well. Oh, those ports into the skin, they do look really rough. I quite like this lot. I do quite like them. It's interesting because I wasn't expecting anything like this, to be honest. I thought if they were going to do close combat, it would be full power armor. It would be something more akin, I guess, to what we see from the Space Marines, because it feels like there is some like rough equivalence between this force and the way the Imperium operates. But this is different. This is a nice change. This kind of gives them, again, a bit more of their own personality, which I really like. So the courageous warriors of the Cthonian mining guilds represent some of the most heavily augmented kin, unreasonably brave souls who have enhanced the physical capabilities of their clone schemes with cybernetic upgrades, all the better to extract precious minerals from rad-plagued nebulae, explosive asteroids, and fathomless ocean depths. That's hardcore, and I like that as background. Also, presumably all the better to extract vaporized bones from big lumps of pulpy meat that they've created with their giant hammers, I'm assuming. Boosted by cyber stims that flood their system. Called it right at the top. Oh yeah. I mean, come on, what else were those going to be? The Berserkers can keep battling through life or death situations, and they eschew the high-tech STC weapons wielded by the rest of the kin, using robust mining equipment such as heavy plasma axes and concussion mauls. Look, I'll be honest here. Gang. I don't know that axe is being used for mining. I don't know that that's a bit of mining equipment. I'm just not buying it. The big hammers, I can maybe see that, whacking away at a big rock. I feel like surely there's things that are better for mining than a giant axe. Like maybe make it a giant pickaxe. It's kind of a pickaxe on the other side of it, I guess. But then I'm thinking of like traditional mining where you hit stones to get other stones out of them. Maybe that is like the worst description of mining that anyone has ever said. Maybe they are chopping down like giant crystalline trees and stuff for cool ores. It's sci-fi. It could be literally anything, couldn't it? I shall rescind my statement. Perfect mining equipment, that. I do wonder how many versions of each weapon we're getting with this lot, whether you can swap things out, where you swap them out. I get the feeling maybe that the join for the weapons might be at the wrists. It might be at the wrists. I find it super interesting that guy's got a robotic forearm, but he's got a normal leather glove. That's interesting to me. I wonder if it isn't a case of the weapons are decided by the hands being moulded onto the different weapons and then you just plug them onto the arms. Question is, will they come with enough to have everyone with the same thing? Like, can you have 4 axes and 4 sonic maul things or whatever they were called? I'm assuming you're not going to be able to give all of them big punchy fists. It would be kind of nice if they did. I just don't think that's going to be a thing. Also, I don't know why I'm calling them big punchy fists, if I'm honest. Although, that's clearly what they are, so is it a problem? I don't think so. All in all, not bad. A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one, I feel. I quite like them. The question is, what do you think? Too tropey? Just tropey enough? Think they look good? Think they could be a bit more heavily armoured, maybe? Or do you think it works for what they are? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. As always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. There's also one for Noble Knight Games if you're in the US, so you can use those if you want. I leave it entirely up to you. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.